Yeah, so please rise as you were. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Shelter Rock. My name is Bryan Bauer, and I am your student minister for this year. I serve in the care of our lead minister, Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore, and our associate ministers, Reverend David Carl Olson and Reverend Megan Henry. We are a leaderful people, with leadership provided by ministers, many congregational members, and even our staff. And we are a lay-governed congregation with elected leaders, officers, and trustees who help steward our mission in the world. Whether you're a visitor, a newcomer, or a longtime member of this congregation, you are welcome here. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. In this community, we use science, reason, and an open heart to explore life's many mysteries. To learn more about this congregation and Unitarian Universalism, please visit our welcome desk in the lobby or go to our website, UUCSR.org. Later this week, on Friday at 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. in the social hall, Reverend David hosts a labyrinth walk. Walking the labyrinth can be a means of meditation, centering prayer, and personal healing. Placing one step in front of the other, the pilgrim journeys on a single path from the outside into the center and back again. The labyrinth is not a place to get lost, but offers a single way with twists and turns into a destination and back. Can be a chance to set an intention, to consider a personal question, and to have self-compassion as the ancient way unfolds to you. I joined him last month, and it was truly rewarding spiritual experience. Reverend David will also be leading the Sunday service next week, January 4th. The topic is, It Starts When You Say We, and he will invite us to expand our ideas of community. At Shelter Rock, we aspire to be a loving, religious community where you can grow spiritually and build a more just and joyful world. You are most welcome to join us on that journey. Thank you. Now it gives me great pleasure to invite to the pulpit Lillian Strassman to assist me with the chalice lighting.
Before I read from my favorite person, Albert Einstein, I see those of us up here are feeling a lot of heat. Is there any possibility of getting some air conditioning in here today? Are you all comfortable down there? Okay. I don't want anything like what happened Christmas Eve.
Thank you.
Okay. From Albert Einstein's... Oh, right there? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, blessed is the match consumed in the kindling flame. Blessed is the flame that burns in the heart's secret places. Blessed is the heart with strength to stop its beating for honor's sake. Blessed is the match consumed in kindling flame. Albert Einstein's essay, The World as I See It. The fairest thing we can experience is the mysterious. It's like when you fall in love and you feel that you're really part of the universe. That feeling is what he's referring to. Now back to Albert. It is the fundamental emotion which stands at the cradle of true art and true science. He who knows it not can no longer wonder, no longer feel amazement, is as good as dead, a snuffed-out candle. It was the experience of mystery, even if mixed with fear, that engendered religion. A knowledge of the existence of something we cannot penetrate, of the manifestations of the profoundest reason and the most radiant beauty, which are all accessible to our reason in their most elementary forms. It is this knowledge and this emotion that constitute the truly religious attitude. Please rise as you are able for the opening hymn in the bleak midwinter, verses 1 and 3 in the gray hymnal.
Please remain standing for the words of affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation, the quest for truth its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need. This do we affirm and covenant with each other. Please be seated. Every month during worship, we take a special collection to support nonprofit groups that serve human need. This month's offering will provide support to the North Shore Soup Kitchen, a not-for-profit, volunteer-based organization established in 1989 to feed hungry people in the Glen Cove area. It is staffed by a group of more than 100 volunteers. These volunteers cook, serve, and clean up after meals. UUCSR has supported the North Shore Kitchen for decades. There are numerous ways to give. You can use the QR code, which is on the back of your order of service. You can tap a notification, I guess, when you get there. You can go directly to paypal.com and send money to donate@uucsr.org. You can pay by check or by cash in the donation box out front. And you can also just go to our giving page on our website. Okay. Please rise as you're able and join for the "From You I Receive." I now invite you into a moment of meditation, prayer, and silent reflection. You may sit if you would. As we rest with the memory of the recent holiday, as we express our gratitude for all we have, let us remember those who have less, not enough, or nothing. Let us remember those who cannot afford gifts to give, or have no one to give them to, or no one to receive them from. Let us endeavor to help those in our communities who continue to be affected by the disruption to SNAP benefits, and who may lose them still. May we strive to help all who fall through the increasing number of cracks in our society. Let us endeavor, too, to build a world where it is not the case that an increasing number of people require such assistance to keep themselves fed and housed, while profits and net values and personal fortunes keep growing. May we hope for a better and more just world, then justify our hope with actions and intentions. I invite you now to light a candle of joy, sorrow, memory, or hope as the Spirit moves you. Please rise and join for the response hymn, number 1012, in your teal hymnal. Please be seated. A reading from the introduction to Thandeka's Love Beyond Belief. We are on our way to spiritual awareness. Let's walk with John Cage as he enters a small, six-walled, echoless chamber constructed with special soundproofing materials to eliminate all external sound. He expects to experience absolute silence. Instead, he hears two sounds. One is the high-pitched tinsel sound of his nervous system in operation. The other is a lower sound made as his blood courses through his veins. Think about what Cage heard. He heard the universe, not figuratively, but literally, strumming his nervous system and drumming the life pulse of his blood. This experience of his own nervous system, namely the experience of his own intrinsically biological feelings, his affective states of consciousness, happened 50 years ago to the experimental composer and musician. But something also just happened to us. We followed Cage into the place between thoughts where he and the universe met. This meeting place is found in the luminous darkness of feelings enveloped by infinite life. Cage felt the floor and his shoes and the skin on his feet as they met and altered the pattern of his nervous system. He saw light patterns sparkle the walls in the room, which altered his retinas and thus colored his nervous system. He felt the air in the room enter his lungs. The quality and temperature of the air affected his breathing and thus the flow of his blood. His turn inward led him into the very heart of cosmic interior life. Thank you so much, guys. You're great. So, how about that weather, huh? Anybody else do any shoveling yesterday? Yeah? Show of hands. Any up there? All right. Yeah, my back is a little stiff today. Well, the weather certainly has turned now. A week ago, we celebrated the solstice and marked the darkest day of the year. Every day since, there has been just a little bit more sunlight than there was the previous day. But it's not very noticeable difference. Yet, no, is it? Makes sense that it's not very noticeable because it's a very gradual shift in both directions. The day after the solstice is only about as bright as the day before the solstice. And today we only get about as much sunlight as we did 2 weeks ago during that first storm. So we still have quite a way to go before it's actually bright and warm again. We mark the occasion of the solstice to remind ourselves, on the day that winter starts, that this is as dark as it gets before turning back the other way. But we have quite a way to go. And in the meantime, we have at least 2 months where we, in the Northeast, can expect the weather to not consider our feelings or all that we have to leave the house to go and do. These months are often harder for me personally because, well, for one thing, as you might be able to tell, I don't have a lot of body fat and I don't have a lot of protection from the elements. Even more important, though, is that I love being outside. And I love gardening, watching things grow. There's not a lot of growing going on lately. But I think what I like least about the coming months is that Christmas goes away. And the funny thing is, I'm not even a huge fan of Christmas itself. It's fine. I don't hate it or anything, but I've never flinched when I got stuck working that day, unless it was a retail job and working that day was worse than any other day. But during the Christmas season, it does feel even easier to, exchange pleasantries with a stranger. Even in Brooklyn, you can just talk to people more. And while there are always those in a selfish mad dash around the holidays to get everything done in time, and you'll have to contend with them, it's also a little easier to appeal to people's decency, to appeal to the season. There's a touch of extra goodwill in the air, even if it's not coming off of everyone. It's there, just a little bit. And then, so many people make an effort to decorate their homes brightly, and in the colder world around us, as the beautiful flowers of the neighborhood disappear from the landscape, suddenly the houses themselves begin to bloom. I like it. And whether you're on your way to work or cozily inside, looking out your window with a warm beverage, it's abundantly clear that life is still thriving and that you aren't really alone in this world. It's all still here, still happening, within the stillness. I love all of that. And then it just goes away. All of it, all the goodwill and any extra patience, gone. The number of people who are actively practicing gratitude seems to drop. That feeling of being in a larger community of humans shrinks, and in no time, we're right back where we started, where we needed to remind everyone in the first place about goodwill toward men or whatever. And of course, all of those pretty lights start to go away. Maybe a few hold out for a few weeks or till the end of the month, but by February, they're long gone. Now, perhaps it's too much to suggest that losing the lights leads to all the rest of that, but maybe we should try it. There's really no other way to test out the theory anyway. And it will almost certainly engender some feelings of joy and goodwill from all but the most grinchly of neighbors. But consider this. The song 12 Days of Christmas, which I think we're all familiar with, 5 golden rings, right? You all know it. Okay. Well, that song is talking about the days that follow Christmas, not the ones before that. I think that often gets forgotten, and I don't even remember how old I was when I first learned that. Anyway, it's counting down the days to the holiday known as Epiphany, or Three Kings Day. And for you sticklers out there, you should know that your creches and mangers are inaccurate, technically, if you have the wise men in there before January 6th. Maybe you should leave the displays up the whole time and add your 3 magi when they actually are supposed to arrive. And maybe we should leave all our lights on our houses until then and encourage them, for accuracy's sake. But not only do some groups and cultures keep their Christmas decorations out for Three Kings, but others don't consider the Christmas season to be complete until Candlemas on February 2nd, at the midpoint of winter, when it's often bleakest. In Christian tradition, it's known as the presentation of Jesus and the purification of Mary, and commemorates events depicted in the 2nd chapter of Luke's Gospel, and following customs that are outlined in Leviticus 12. The Christian celebration was observed in Jerusalem by the end of the 4th century CE. Now, over the many years since, Candlemas has evolved along with local practices with the spread of Christianity. In many places, they would bring all the candles to the church to have them blessed for use in the coming year. In Belgium, they would light every candle in the house. In Germany, it was for a long time known as the start of the farmer's year, and one was supposed to have half of their winter provisions left at that point, just as a rule of thumb. It was also when new employment contracts were begun and old ones renewed. They also added to their candle blessings a myth about a hedgehog seeing its shadow or not, which would then determine whether or not the winter would last much longer. Meanwhile, in Hungary, children light candles and dress as bears and eat honey. Supposedly, it's at this point of the year when the bears peek out of their caves to look for their shadow. But we just happen to have a great many German settlers, especially in Pennsylvania. So in the US, we ended up with Groundhog's Day and Puxatawny Phil. But it seems like only the most ardent fans drive to an event to celebrate with others who are equally enthused, who make any kind of a big deal out of that holiday. Nothing stops or slows down for most people. We certainly do nothing like we do for Christmas or Thanksgiving. But there is an ancient impulse to mark this occasion. In pagan and agrarian communities and practices, February 2nd is often referred to as one of the 4 cross-quarter days of the year. We've been talking a lot this past week about the winter solstice. And, of course, in 6 months, we'll have the summer solstice. In between those are the vernal equinox in spring and the autumnal equinox in the fall. One day to mark the start of each season. And in between each of those 4 days is a cross-quarter day, which marks the halfway point between one season and the next. So, like Candlemas marking the midpoint between winter and spring, in between the starts of spring and summer is May Day, on or around May 1st, and it's when the warmth seems to catch up with the light of the spring. It's often when things start to really look green and in bloom again, and the day traditionally has undertones of fertility in general, but also for people. In between the starts of summer and fall is the oft-neglected, by our modern world anyway, Lunaza on August 1st, which marks the start of the harvest festival. This is when fruits and vegetables begin to ripen, and you have to collect them to make room on the plants for the new growth, which is already budding behind them. And then most famously, in between autumn and winter, is Beltane, All Saints' Day, or Halloween, or Samhain, whatever you might want to call it. In Celtic culture, it's unclear if they even used the solstices and equinoxes, or only these days which would later be known as the cross-quarter days in relation to these others. Many modern pagans and Wiccans and others refer to all of this as the wheel of the year. And whatever they may have called it, and whether they recognized all 8 of these days or only one set of 4, humans have long since kept track of the turning season. For them, it was not an option. They needed to be aware of these turns in order to plan and to survive. They needed to be concerned with much more than whether their flowers would grow. So too, those German farmers counting provisions meant to last through the cold months. It represents a deep connection between and among the seasons, the earth, and human life. And it is indelibly bound with a faith and a hope that our futures are as assured as are the turning of this wheel and all of its elements, like the seasons. We in the 21st century United States, by contrast, tend to be in a big hurry. I've already heard someone ask if they should take down their Christmas tree, and they weren't talking about a real tree that was starting to turn. And for that matter, I know I'm not alone in noticing that Halloween decorations appear in stores in August, but are already off of the shelves by the time the holiday itself comes around. Already making a little room for Thanksgiving stuff, but in reality, mostly planning for Christmas already. And then Christmas, just over. And we have these long months ahead of us, cold and bleak, and little to look forward to, but the end of it. And it makes me think back to this year when I was in high school, and my father was too sick to work very much, and so he took over a lot of things at home, including things no one asked him to, and a few things that others quietly wished he hadn't. Now, he had never been good about taking down his fake plastic Christmas tree, and this year, distracted by all of his new projects around the house, it got to be February before Mom called it to his attention that this needed doing. And then she and I left the house that day for work and school and saw he was methodically removing all of the ornaments and putting them away. When I got home from school that afternoon, I found him still at work in the same spot. Only now everything but the lights had been removed, and he was replacing Christmas ornaments and decorations with Valentine's Day colors, and paper hearts. I think there may have been some Lincoln and Washington representation thrown in there. He was quite excited to get it done before Mom got home, to surprise her. This may have been true, but I have often wondered if he was hoping she would be less likely to object if it was already done by the time she saw it. Anyway, he kept this going, and although I may be forgetting some of them, I remember he redid the tree, again for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, and then he did a patriotic theme for Memorial Day, which pretty much lasted all summer. And finally, he redecorated again for Halloween and then Thanksgiving. before putting it back to its intended Christmas use. Now, my mother got up early on the first Saturday of January to reclaim her dining room, and at that point, nobody, not even my dad, could blame her, even though every other year he would object that it wasn't Epiphany yet. But the joke had become a little old, so nobody was too disappointed to see it end at last. But I still think back on that year often, for the most part fondly. Because I think it's important not to just isolate a few days out of the year and to pause and do things a little differently, but instead to take time throughout the year to appreciate it in its passing, to love its movement, and our experience of the flow of the seasons, which, no matter how little you personally might think about it, we as a species are still dependent on for survival. You don't have to mark the stages of farming and harvest, or decorate the same tree over and over. But we should be celebrating the important moments of the year as a vital part of the cosmic mechanics which sustain us. We should be calling attention to the continuity from season to season, from year to year, and from life to life. We are enabling a future hope by our faithful, continuing presence now. And we are also manifesting and justifying the hope of past generations by being stewards of this present moment. But it's easy to forget all about that as we go about our lives. And so it's a good deed to remind others whatever you happen to remember yourself. And so I urge you to consider keeping those lights on your house. Doesn't have to be anything flashy, just enough to remind the onlookers that in this frozen space, there is still life. There are still seeds biding their time beneath the surface, that there is much to look forward to and reason to keep going. We should treat these months like we did the first year of COVID, when circumstances were beyond everyone's control, and so we worked hard to include everyone in our plans, and we manifested creative workarounds to the isolation and despair. And if it didn't happen perfectly, whatever it was, that was okay. And if it didn't happen at all, then we resolved to try again later. There was some pressure off everything because nobody could be at their best. There was a lot of extra grace, knowing that everyone was having trouble even enjoying themselves, let alone making things happen. We should help each other get through this harder time. And perhaps you're thinking, well, Bryan, why don't we do that all year? Why would we only try to do it during the cold months? I couldn't agree with you more, but that is a tall order. A daunting task that might scare people away from even starting. Perhaps it's better then, or easier, to begin that 1,000-mile journey with this single step. Amen. Please rise for the concluding hymn. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our worship is over. Let the service begin.